But every story I ever heard about Savitar is basically the same. Savitar was the first man ever granted speed. And over time, he became the god of motion, the fastest of us all. Before Savitar graces an Earth with his presence, he sends a predecessor to prepare for his arrival.
What's up, guys? It's the NJB here, and today I'm going to do another theory on Savitar. So this is going to be another theory on who I think he is. So let's get right into it. So in my last video, I made it a pretty big point that we do see how Savitar gets his powers. So my idea was that Savitar cannot be someone that we've already seen get their powers. So this will include Barry, it will include Wally, it will include Jesse, it includes Zoom, and any other speedster that we've seen actually get their powers in the show. Seeing that we do see Savitar get his powers, and I do put the clip in the beginning of the video. So the person I think Savitar could be is Jay Garrick, and the main thing is because of process of elimination, and he's the only speedster on the show that we don't ever see get his powers. That isn't my only reason for thinking it's him, but it is just one of the reasons. So one thing, I do want you guys to remember that in this show, whenever they hide the identity of someone, you can always know who the person is, but you never know how or why. So with Reverse Flash, you knew who it was. They basically showed you, but you didn't know how. And the explanation for it, there was just no way anyone could have guessed it. And the same thing with Zoom. I guess that one was a little easier to guess. I mean, he did have a time remnant, but it's still pretty tough to guess, and it's not really something you just know. So I feel like the explanation is definitely going to be one of those. No one's really going to be able to guess it exactly, but we can kind of narrow it down. So first of all, I did give my first reason. We never see how he gets his speed, and we do know Savitar gets his speed from the stone. I don't exactly remember what it's called at this time, but we do know he gets it from the stone. Second of all, we do know that Savitar was kind of helped out when Barry created Flashpoint. And I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure Savitar might have said that Barry gave him an opportunity to leave the Speed Force, to get out of it when he created Flashpoint. And that's why he gave Wally his power, so he can manipulate him into getting him out of the Speed Force. So that way he can get out and Wally can get in, because there needs to be one speedster in it. So my second reason for it is, by keeping that in mind, remember when Barry realized how much he messed up the timeline by making Flashpoint, he tried to go back and fix it. And who was the person that stopped him? It was Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick came out from his own place, took Barry and took him into a restaurant and talked him out of it. He basically told him that he should deal with his mistakes rather than try and fix it and probably make more problems or possibly fix it. But he basically told him that he should deal with it and just try and live on with it. So theoretically, if he was Savitar, then he wouldn't want Barry to go back in time to stop him from being able to fulfill his plan and to change Flashpoint, because he does need it. And also, Savitar does say that he knows everything. I believe he has said that quite a few times in the show. How would Jay Garrick know when Flash was going back in time to change Flashpoint? I mean, technically, if he was Savitar, then he probably would have kept eyes on Flash and just to make sure that he wouldn't go back and reverse Flashpoint. So that could be a reason why he did it. So my next reason is, no one knew about Savitar other than Alchemy and Savitar's followers and Jay Garrick. I mean, we never hear about where Savitar came from except from Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick tells Flash how Savitar was created, and basically he just tells him everything he knows about him. And in fact, it kind of sounds like he actually knows more about Savitar than quite a few people, in my opinion. So that would be true if he is Savitar. I mean, he never really says exactly how he finds out. He just says that from what he's heard, and that's pretty broad. So I still kind of think he's Savitar. So the major flaw with this idea is that, one, Jay Garrick is in the Speed Force now because he did have to go in so Wally can leave, and also he's from a different Earth than Barry is. So he's already kind of two good reasons why he wouldn't be Savitar, and kind of puts it more into a mystery once more. But just remember, Savitar's used so many different like Speed Force abilities. I mean, first he's able to redirect lightning from Jesse, and he does that with his suit, and we have seen that before. Second, he is able to, like, as I said before in my other video, he can manipulate people. He can make them see people who aren't there. He can disguise himself. He disguised himself as Cisco's brother to talk to Cisco, and he disguised himself as Wally's mom to talk to Wally. And if you remember, whenever Barry goes into Speed Force, what does the Speed Force do when it wants to talk to him? It disguises itself as people Barry cared about. So do you kind of see like a pattern here? Savitar does that, and the Speed Force does that. So it's like he has a unique connection with the Speed Force, and he is pretty similar to it. On top of that, what exactly does being trapped in the Speed Force mean and do? I mean, even though he's trapped in the Speed Force, he's still able to come out and fight Barry and Jay Garrick, simply because the stone is out of the chest. So he's able to fight them while the stone's out of the chest. So we don't know like how limited being trapped in the Speed Force really is. On top of that, the stone was like nowhere to be seen, and he's still able to mess with Wally. I mean, him and Barry are walking down the street. He's talking to Wally, he's threatening him, and he pushes him against the wall. So it's kind of weird. We really don't know like what being trapped in the Speed Force really does. It could just be bad writing, and this show is pretty guilty of having a lot of cringiness and a lot of stuff that just doesn't add up. But usually when you're trying to find out the mystery, they are pretty straightforward, even though sometimes it does sound kind of ridiculous. But we really don't know like the limits of being trapped in the Speed Force. And to end the video, my last reason is that every time Barry has a problem, he's usually helped in some way or form by his enemy. In the first season, his opponent was Reverse Flash, and he basically helped him throughout the whole season. It was for his own benefit, but he still helped Barry get better. In the second season, it was Zoom, and Zoom disguised as basically kind of his version of Jay Garrick. He helped him to fight Zoom himself, and it turned out that he really was Zoom, and he got rid of him when he didn't need him anymore. And I'm not going to say that Jay Garrick is a time remnant of Savitar, but he could be something. He could be something else, and now that Savitar doesn't need him anymore, he could have decided to voluntarily go into the Speed Force. So that could be a reason. I mean, he does come to Barry's rescue, like when Barry needed him. And he does say that Cisco came to his world and asked him for help. That's most likely true, but if he is Savitar, then remember that he did know Barry was going back in time to change Flashpoint, and he did intervene. And I did go over like what the significance of the intervening would have to do if he was Savitar. So he could have actually just come to Cisco and the Team Flash and just offered to help Barry because he knew he was in danger. And he did come and help Barry, and after that he's just no more. And if you remember, the same thing happened with the other Jay Garrick, technically Zoom's time remnant. It was just basically him in disguise, and he was using Jay Garrick. Zoom killed him like right after he was done using him, and then later on they kind of figured out that it was Zoom. So basically that's going to be like my theory on Jay Garrick being Savitar. The main part of my theory is that we never see how he gets to speed, and usually with these explanations we never really know. Like, let's be honest, there's no way anyone could 100% guess like exactly how someone is the villain in any of these Flashes, like the Flash seasons. You can always pick like who you know is the villain, but you never know how or why. So right now I'm gonna say like Jay Garrick could be a person. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say it's like 100% because like it's really hard to know, and they are doing this pretty well. But one thing I do want to like bring up is that I don't know about you guys, but I never really thought of like Savitar's like identity. I never really thought it would be like anything like important. Like, do you feel me? I mean, honestly, until like 2 episodes ago, I didn't really care like who he was. I mean, it didn't even occur to me that he was someone on the show. Like, I just thought that he was an ancient speedster, and even if they knew his identity, I mean, what are they gonna go in a museum and find like who he used to be? I mean, like, I just didn't see like his identity being important. So part of me still feels like it's not a huge deal, but the show is making it to be one. So I'm really not sure. But anyway, that's just gonna be my second theory. I can't really think of any other theories that I can put out because a lot of times when I'm thinking of these, if I can think of a way that would kind of like discredit my theory or make it false, then I really won't just put it up. But anyway, this is my second theory. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. You guys can tell me like what you guys think in the comments and who you guys think it is. Someone put in the comments of my last video, and they gave like a pretty good theory, I guess, or they get their ideas. So if we can get like more of those, that would be great. I kind of want to see what everyone else thinks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. And just as you guys know, if you guys do play video games, play Modern Warfare Remastered, like just in case you guys do, there is Prop Hunt until Monday, so it is in Weekend Warfare. So I know a lot of people probably won't know it came back, but if you do play Modern Warfare Remastered, you should go and check that out. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and put in the comments on your theory on who you think Savitar is. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, mates.